Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Logan Power Show. It's me, your host, Calvin Logan, live here at the Logan Power Show household. We having some fun. I know I'm just moving some things around, y'all. Like I said, hey, we doing some fun things here at the Logan Power Show. So we're getting all our stuff together, trying to look good for y'all for TV. I'm excited for what's about to go on. This will be a nice broadcast for y'all during this time where we're trying to be distant, but hey, I want to bring it together. So I can't wait till some things get together. Without further ado, I got it. He's the first time here at the Logan Power Show for our TV side. He was on our radio. The one and only Mr. Ronald Dolphus. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great, Calvin. Glad to be here.
Glad to have you here. Glad that you be a part. We're honored to have you here. Without further ado, let's talk about GP Theatre. Talk about your nonprofit organization, what it's doing, how's it making impact. The floor is yours.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, give God the glory. Yeah, the Glorious Performance Team, that's a nonprofit youth theater group in the Charlotte area. It began actually in church. It began as me and my wife, Regina, my wife for 28 years. We had a drama club ministry in our congregation. And even before that, we were Boy Scout and Cub Scout leaders for a number of years. And then we went to doing a youth ministry at the church, teaching kids performing arts as a way to build confidence, build their self-esteem and team building skills in order to put on skits at the church and plays. And then we decided to take it to the community. So back in 2014, we did establish a nonprofit, and we still kept the name Glorious. I mean, now people, when we say Glorious Performance Team, people still think that organization is part of the church, though, but that just shows our roots. It is not affiliated with the church, and that's why we use GPT Theatre as a moniker. And we just completed our 5th season, which was interrupted by the pandemic. So this season, we're going to our 6th season of inspiring youth and entertaining audiences. And right now we're trying to deal with, doing things virtual with the ones from the 2019-20 season. We're doing some virtual activities. So that's what we're trying to plan ahead for both virtual and physical venues for the upcoming summer and the fall. And we kind of plan it by ear.
Yes, sir. And I'm going over a couple things that you have that I want to get into. I know we got into our radio, but I want to let the people know what you have going on. There were 3 plays, 2 plays, 1 movie, short film. As far as the eye can see, the first play they first came out. For those who don't know what that is, it's a multi-act premiere performance chronicling the African-American history from slavery to 2008 President Barack Obama. Now, I know you talked about it on the radio show, but can you tell people what's the significance and importance of doing that?
Yeah, the point of that was to teach history to our youth and to make it entertaining for both young and old. So we want to start off where we were in a tragic situation, being enslaved, but we want to climax with the election of Barack Obama. That was almost a highlight of the achievement of coming from some terrible situation in slavery, and then having that happen in that year. We started off with Henry Box Brown. It's a series of acts, and we start off with Henry Box Brown. For those who don't know, that was the famous person. He was a slave in Virginia, and he freed himself by shipping himself in a box. He packed himself in a box, and for 28 hours, that box was moved around from wagon, from horse cart, from train, from boat for 28 hours. He was turned upside down. He was upside down sometimes, sideways. He had to be quiet when people came near the box. He only had maybe a biscuit and some water. And after 28 hours, he was delivered to Philadelphia, the people who were waiting for him, and he was free. And he was free. When he came out the box, he sang to him. And in the play, I played the person who opened the box up for him, waiting on him. And I was in costume when we did the play. And my son Titus, he's 19 now, but at that time we did the play, he was like 16. He played Henry Box Brown, so he came out and said, "I'm free, and I'm free. I'm also very hungry." So we had a little humor in that. So, and then when Henry Box Brown was free, he started the rest of the play going. So he started to say that I'm free, but he started to reminisce and he still kind of felt sorry for those who were still slavery. So we had an act about going back to slavery, those who kind of ran away from slavery. We did an act on that. We did an act about from the early 1920s when our African-American people in the South were subject to lynching and also oppression at that time. We did an act in the 1940s showing separated facilities like water fountains, homes, and schools. I also did an act in the 1960s about young people's reactions to the assassination of Martin Luther King.
Got it.
And a lot of times when our young people see the 1960s these days, they see a lot of black and white pictures about civil rights, Vietnam, but there was, people lived back then, so it wasn't just all black and white. So, but we did a play about how high schoolers and young people reacted to the assassination. We also had them dressing like in the 60s. We had a big floor model TV on the set. We had some anything that looked like from the 60s. We had that, and then of course we ended the play with the election of Barack Obama. On that particular skit, the final skit of the series, the Barack Obama, it was about a young girl who was excited about the Barack's election, a straight A student, but her brother was not a straight A student. His brother struggled in school, made D's and L's, always got suspended from school. He wasn't interested he didn't care whether, either way, he wasn't excited about Barack being elected president. And she was trying to convince him the significance of that.
Got it.
And the important part of that part of the play was the sister, who was, excited and a good student, told her brother that Barack Obama said, if you quit school, because he's threatened to quit school. If you quit school, you not only quit on yourself, but you quit on your country. So that was the highlight saying of that particular play, skit of the play. So we really had a good time making it.
Amen. Amen. And then you went to school maze. You talked about bullying, some of the things that teen and young people faced. Can you elaborate on that one? Because was a really interesting. We talked about on the radio show about the school
Yeah,
maze.
we did a play about school maze. So we took it, that was bringing things to contemporary times. Because if it was up to me, I would stay stuck in history. and the reason being, we talked about it earlier on the radio, because nobody, had to choose when they was born in. I'm sure those people who were born into slavery would have loved to stay in a time like this. You can just imagine if people back in the 18th, 19th century had the choice, could be born now, and if people now, we go through so much and make so much problems for ourselves, being depressed. Now, sometimes, there's some difficult good reasons sad reasons for a person to be depressed. But a lot of times we are more sadder than what we should be. If we can go back, if we had to live back in that time, we would appreciate living in this time. But getting back to school maze, that was look at things more relevant for youth. Bullying, we did a skit on bullying, where and let me backtrack a bit. One sad thing about our play, School Maze, we did a skit on bullying, where a boy was being bullied, and so much that he brought a gun to school, and he pulled a gun out of his book bag and threatened to shoot the student. And that situation actually happened in Charlotte, where just a few months after we premiered the play, somebody did in the high school pull a gun out of their book bag and killed a student.
Wow.
That was sad. But in our play, we froze them right before he's about to shoot the student. We froze and had them, you know, and because it's a play, we had them kind of go in reverse. And, you know, the boy thought about what he shouldn't do. He shouldn't kill the person, kill the student. And we did social media, the detriments of making fun of people on social media. We did something on respect for people's fashion, because everybody can't wear the latest fashion. Where a group of girls is picking on one another about the clothes that they wear. We also talk about in school maze, you know, how you're not supposed to skip class. You know, because, you know, if you skip class, you will skip out on being a good citizen, or skip out on being a good employee. So
Yes,
we
sir.
had a good time making that as well.
Yes, sir. And the one that has made it to the big film, got introduced into Hollywood, California. Something that's definitely I want to give a salute to you for happening is Yankee Escapee. Can you tell people a little bit about that one? So this is a twist, y'all, but I like the man behind the writer, the inventor, to tell more
Yeah,
about that.
yeah, Yankee Escapee, and that was a film. It was not a GPT production, but it's really a film that was a collaboration of different creative talents here in the Charlotte area. I was a co-director, and I was the writer and the executive producer. And the great part about this short film was it's a historical film, but we was able to bring some of the GPT youth on the scene. One youth, he was actually was an actor in it, and also we had another one was able to watch a professional film crew at work. Yankee Escapee is a film that what came to thought to how that was created. Even though it's only 10 minutes long, we packed a lot of themes into that 10 minutes. The primary theme is, of course, as we read our history books all the time, we always talk about, you know, and it happened, Black people running away from being in slavery, and they run through the woods and they go through this and go through that, and someone would provide assistance, you know, safe houses that were ran by white people who were sympathetic to them, and they had them come, you know, was able to continue on to freedom. So my thought was, okay, what about if we had a Black person, a white person running for freedom, and he's running through the woods, and he's about to get caught, and, you know, he needed help from a Black family. So a
Okay.
Black family takes him in and feeds him, and also to give him shelter until he can continue on to freedom. So in the film, the story is about the Civil War. And it's a Union prisoner war. Him and his buddy escaped from prison, and the film starts with them being chased by the Confederates. You know, trying to catch them, recapture them. So the two soldiers split, and one of them, you know, finds his way to the home of a free Black family. So a lot of people, one thing that was that people need to know about is a quick history fact was that there were more free Black people living in the Civil War South than it was in the North.
Mm.
Now, even though they were free, now they faced great discrimination and abuse. Even though they had property, they was tradesmen, they wasn't slave, but it wasn't. You know, they didn't have. You know, they still had to endure a lot, and that shows that because in one scene, you know, the soldiers just plow their way into the house, you know, for no reason. You know, it wasn't like this, but now, you know, now there was, you know, things like that do happen these days too. Now people, there was a lady that house broke in, was in Louisville. Somebody broke into her house and killed her because, you know, without cause. I think it was Louisville, I believe. But we show that in the scene about the discrimination they face being free Black people in the Confederacy. So, but also the key theme of the story was that when the white Yankee soldier, the Union soldier, he found refuge, they fed him, you know, in their own, you know, and they was in danger of being caught. If the black husband and wife would get found out that they sheltered a Yankee soldier, they would have lost their freedom. But
Wow.
they gave him food, they gave him water. But the key thing was that he now had empathy for what Black people go through, because he grew up in a place where there's nothing but white people, came down to the war, just came down to fight, not necessarily to free black people, but it came down to fight for the Union. The North and the South was fighting. But when he got in that prison camp, he found out what it was like to be a slave, you know, to eat bad food, to be abused, couldn't go nowhere, mice all over the place and whatever. He got away, and now he know, oh, I know what it's like to be a slave.
Got it.
And, so that's the movie, and we enjoyed making it, and we made that movie in 2 days.
Wow.
Yeah, so we had a great time making that, and it's a lot of people liked it. You know, we showed it all to many numerous people. It's on YouTube, Yankee Escapee. It's on Amazon Prime Direct, and it was also screened at the Golden State Film Festival in Hollywood. That theater is at Grauman's Chinese Theater. It's now called TCL Chinese Theater. That theater that everybody see where the Hollywood Walk of Fame was. That's where it was screened. And me and my wife Regina, before the pandemic happened, we got a chance to go out there and watch the movie. Got to meet some people, so had a wonderful time.
Amen. Amen. Well, final thought, last question here. How can people get in contact with you before we close? Oh,
yeah, they can get in contact with us by going to our website, www.gptheatre.org. That's GPTHEATRE.org. You can see slideshows up as far as the eye can see. You can see slideshows if I play. It also has a direct link to Yankee Escapee. You can see it direct YouTube link. And also it has a page where you can learn about our new picture. We're going to do a 30-minute short film. It also goes back to the Civil War called a swimming lesson. So you can learn all about that and how you can help make that a reality for that new picture that we're going to make.
Amen. Amen. So definitely I'll be on the lookout. I thank you again for coming on the show and blessing us. You're always more than welcome to come back. We would definitely love if the Yankee Escapee, if you'd like to show it on our network, we gladly would do so for you.
Oh yeah,
if you give us the permission for doing so, we'll gladly show it. Because definitely we feel that things like that can definitely be shown and make a difference. So I look forward to talking to you, and we'll make it happen from there. How's that sound?
It sounds wonderful, Calvin. Wonderful, wonderful.
All righty. Well, hey, you heard it first live at the Logan Power Show. Mr. Ronald Dolphus right here, GP Theatre. Hey, they making a difference. They're going to make this become a new phenomenon where young people have the opportunity to make a difference. Well, hey, that's all the time I got. My name is Calvin of the Logan Power Show, nationwide, worldwide. We love you. Talk to you soon.
Happy Memorial Day.
Happy Memorial Day, sir. Hats off to you, sir. Right there.